focus be on you. Wanna say like me, yeah. Wanna let you call and you talk to, girl. I'll share my world with you. You gonna waste your time, waste your time with me. I mean, honestly, open your eyes and see. Giving you what you need, waste your time with me. You can have all the space, all that you need. Ain't so precious for me. You got time to waste it with me. And I ain't worried about them. Girl, you all that I see. And I am who I am. And I be where I be. If you ever hit me on the late night, I'll give you a clear mind. Might give you some insight. I'll share my world with you. Waste your time with me. I mean, honestly, open your eyes and see. It's everybody. Waste your time with me. You can have all the space, all that you need. It's so precious if you got time to waste it with me. Close your eyes, get away. Lay my mind, I'm afraid. Beautiful, girl, you stainless. You'll be fine, I'll be painless, yeah. All I'm drinking is champagne. All you want is the same thing. Girl, with you, you gonna waste your time, waste your time with me. I mean, honestly, open your eyes and see. Giving you what you need.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, hey.
Can y'all hear me? Because I don't have my microphone, so I'm using my AirPods. What do I sound
Yes, we
like?
can.
Y'all
Yeah, we
can
can
hear me?
hear you. Sound good.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool, y'all. So happy Sunday, everybody. Y'all, up in Kansas City, we are trying to prepare for the Super Bowl, y'all. So if y'all hear some random screaming in the background, we are sorry. Things are getting real out here with the playoffs. So just bear with us.
Okay, and we hope we got some Chiefs fans too.
Period. So like we said, this is the second to last Sunday, the last full week of January, y'all. I cannot believe we have already got this far into the year already. January is basically over. How are y'all feeling so far about y'all year?
I'm feeling pretty good so far. I don't know about y'all, but I've been having a good day every day. I have took this 30-day love me challenge that I started myself, to where I write in my journal every day and I tell myself how much I love myself, and it's just, I'm loving it. Look, I'm loving it.
Me too.
So
Me too.
I'm,
It's been
what's today? 23rd. I'm 23 days in, y'all, and hey, it's pretty good.
What about you, Leslie?
same. I'm loving it so far. Got a new job, so I'm excited about that. Just staying positive, but first 23 days going good so far. So far, so good.
Yes, we love your picture this week, Leslie. You
I
came correct.
took me a minute
Right.
because I thought I was
You
doing something wrong. All I had to do was just scroll down and be like, okay, add avatar. But yeah,
yeah, yeah,
had
pretty much. We happy you figured it out.
okay,
Hey,
okay.
CC Monet, girl, appreciate you. Tell them to hit that like button as they come on in with us tonight.
Yes, period. Hey Tracy and hey AK. So this week we gonna have a little interesting topic for you guys. If y'all did not remember, Mimi left y'all with some homework. So teacher Mimi, go ahead and refresh them of what their homework was.
Homework last week was if you met the guy of your dreams, he had every check mark on your list. But he told you that he had an experience with a man. He didn't like it, and that was it. Would you ladies date him? Would y'all date him,
Look,
ladies?
look. I wish I had a soundboard. It'd be like, dun. Like, is it
Need a
like,
little
what is
Jeopardy.
Because I only asked, like I said, because I seen that episode on Insecure where, like I said, he was a cute guy. He had checked every box that she needed and everything, but he just had one experience with the man one time, did not like it, and is that something you guys could deal with,
Absolutely,
ladies?
it's a no for me.
Well, normally we ain't there yet, baby. But you've been itching for a whole 7 days
Right.
straight to answer that question, y'all. If y'all remember last week, Nordy been trying to say her pieces
Wait, I
last
thought
week.
we were answering it. Who?
We're letting the people answer first.
So this week, you guys, we actually have a special guest. Like we told you guys last week, we were basically trying to figure out to make things fair because we are a panel of women, want to make things fair and even out the playing field. So we do have a dear friend that is going to be joining us on this episode to talk about his experience as um, someone who dates the same sex, as well as someone who is well versed, shall I say, with just meeting people, being able to vibe with people and doing things the way that it should be, which is, like I said, meeting and vibing and doing things organically. He is a very organic soul. So nothing is ever forced when you talk to him. So,
I love him.
yes, his name is Christian, you guys. So we're actually going to go ahead and add him to the stream now. And then we're going to start the discussion because we got to make it fair. For ladies, we cannot speak for the mass majority. So we're going to even the playing field. Christian, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we
Hey,
Hey,
can
boo,
hear
Okay,
you.
great.
welcome.
Hey, how are y'all?
good.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm really well. Thank you so much. This is very juicy, so I'm excited to get into some things.
I mean, it's
Well, we
not,
thank you for coming. We appreciate you for coming.
Yes,
We,
thank you
we
so much for having me.
First and foremost, we want to put out here that you are welcome to say whatever you feel. This is a free platform. We are not judging you or anyone else for that matter. Your opinion is needed here. That's why we asked you to come. Like I said, this is just free. You like family, so say however you feel. Say your piece, and the floor is yours. Like I said, no judgment at all. You family, and that goes for anyone out there as well. This is just a free zone for everybody. We're not judging anyone. Everyone's opinion is welcome, but it is not. How do I say that, Audrey? Don't take our opinion for, you know what I mean, everything. These are just our
right.
opinions. That's
So
it. That's
everybody's
it.
going to speak for their own personal experience. We are
Yes.
not here to offend or bash anyone. So even though this
Yes.
is an open
Yes.
space, just because you guys may not rock with other people's way of life does not mean that you should bash or condemn them. And please know when my sisters and I are speaking about how we live and how we feel things, please know that we are not digging at you. We are just speaking our truth. So if you feel offended,
Along
please,
with our guest.
yes, along with our guests, please do not. This is a very, very tough topic. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. We actually had people tell us not to even do this episode, but we advocated. We are grown women, we are educated, and we know that we can get this done in a tasteful manner without anyone feeling any kind of way. And if you do feel some way, y'all can hit us up and, we can try to clarify some things for you guys or vice versa. But yeah,
I agree.
this is a very tough topic. So we we already know. We already know.
And we only
So
brought it because we want to be open to all opinions and to open our minds. That's what made me even ask the question in the first place, because it is 2022. And so we want to be a little bit more open minded with a lot of things. So All
Yeah, we
righty, let's
cannot
get
be like our
cracking.
parents and our grandparents. They are so close-minded and nothing is everything is, taboo and sensitive. Like we're not trying to live in that era. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So Mimi already left the cliffhanger. She said, "Ladies, how would you guys feel if you guys met the perfect man and he checked off every box? But there was one time that you guys happened to speak about past sexual encounters and he did inform you that he had an experience with a man. With that experience, he did end up saying that, it was an experience. He did not like it. He is not bi curious. He is not homosexual. He is a straight man. He had an experience that he did not like. And, he knows for sure that he wants to be with you. How would you go about that? Would you leave him? Even though you are a single woman, you are up there, you are ready to meet the perfect man and start a family. Would you proceed or would you not? And why? So now that we have Christian on the line, Christian, if you want to start, we already know that you are a gay man, but have you ever had an experience with a woman?
I've had several experiences with women. I'm not opposed to experiences with women either. Like, to
Period.
be clear,
Okay.
I just like people. You know, the genitalia doesn't really. I mean, like, like that's not the deciding factor for me. No, I'm like more consistently attracted to like masculine presenting bodies, but there be some cute women too. I've had experiences with people, trans men, trans women, straight or cis men, cis women. I don't discriminate.
So, with you having experiences with both, have you ever had to tell a woman like that you have been with men before, and how was her response if you have?
Oh no, they know. Um, they know. Usually, they're the ones who initiate the experience. But I think also
Hmm.
it's the oh yeah, you would be surprised. I think also it's the transparency, because it's one thing like if you're saying like how you say you met someone and then you found out, and now you have a choice at the beginning before all these feelings like come
Mm-hmm.
together, which keep you from like
Mm-hmm.
feeling like you're blindsided or betrayed like later. But I feel like because it is known, then I don't get honestly any pushback at all. It's like I never initiated with the woman; they are usually who initiated with me. I'm just like, okay,
And are these straight women, or are these
yeah, they
women?
are, yeah.
They're straight women. Have you
Hmm.
ever had a woman tell you that she was in love with you?
Okay, yes. Okay, okay. I don't know. Okay, it's like give me the rules. Like, can I cuss or can I be
Yeah, you can
explicit?
You
cuss. You can
cuss, you
keep
Okay,
it. We
one.
don't care.
okay. So this was a few years ago. Oh my God. I hope she never hears this, but this was a few years
Don't
ago,
say her name. Look, it's not
and
even
there
say her
was,
name. Just
yeah.
No face, no case.
I won't say any names, but I had a friend who we had a experience together after drinking and smoking, and she was in a relationship, and then the next morning she like was in love with me, and like we've been friends for years, and she like wanted to hang out every day after that. And I asked, well, what about your partner? And she like went off on me, and like we have not spoken since then after that. Because for me, I've told you like I've had experiences like that before, and it's usually with friends. And so it's like we do what we do and we never talk about it again until we get drunk and do it again. You know what I
So she
mean?
was trying to
And
make
we
you
never.
boyfriend number two.
Yeah, and like that gave me a lot of anxiety, honestly, because it's like I don't know what you're looking for over here, but you're not gonna get it. Like I gave you everything I could give you. I gave it to you last night. Like I don't have nothing else for you over here.
I am honestly shocked because when we was prepping for this episode, and Mimi can even tell you, we was like, what, we doubted that it was gonna be straight heterosexual women that was pursuing
yeah.
men that they knew were curious, bi, or gay. And which leads me to the question. Someone in the comments said, do you consider yourself gay, bi, or other? Like, what do you consider yourself? What is your like orientation?
So I just consider I hate even having to put a label because it's just like, child, I know what I like. I don't gotta explain it to nobody else. But for the purposes of the podcast, I consider myself pansexual if that's if you guys know what that is. So I just like people. Like I said, like s- I don't know, like physical attraction is one thing. Like I said, I'm more consistently attracted to masculine presenting bodies, but that only gets you so far. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
it's
So
like
you want about how a person makes you feel.
Yeah, they're
exactly. So
Okay.
that's
much.
like what I
Okay.
look, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like
I
there's
can
people,
understand that. I can totally
yeah,
understand that.
but it's like more consistently I'm attracted to like masculine presenting bodies. But if I meet someone who is a woman or even trans women, I've dated trans women. Like I said, I've dated all throughout the spectrum. If you are a good person and you make me feel safe and everything, then I like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. There's nothing
I
wrong with
like
that.
that.
So
I
have
like how
you
open minded
ever,
you are.
and this is my last question, and then I'm gonna let Leslie and Mimi take over. Have you ever fell in love with a woman
In love,
or had strong
no.
feelings? Have strong
Strong
feelings.
feelings, yes. It takes a lot for me to fall in love with anybody, but strong feelings, yes. Yes, pretty recently actually, like last year. I had a situation like that, but in my head, like I knew like it wasn't gonna go anywhere. Like I knew that's not what I really wanted, because you can't always control your feelings, child. So I just
Mhm.
had the feelings, but I knew like, okay, this isn't what I really want. And it wasn't even her being a woman; it was just like at the time as a person. But I did, um, and it caught me kind of by like surprise, and it caught most of my friends by surprise, honestly. But yeah, I did have. I've had several experiences like that, but pretty recently last year.
Wow, that is good
Mm.
to know. Okay, so Mimi, you had some questions that you wanted to ask.
Well, my question was, hold on, I have wrote some stuff down. Hold on.
And then you guys, I did go ahead and pin the link because we did leave y'all with that cliffhanger. So we do want you guys to call in and tell us, yay or nay, what is your thoughts about dating a man who has an experience with another man, even though the experience is over. It was a one deal thing, it was a one time thing. Do you feel like it's a bias? Because I personally feel like a lot of women have one time experiences with the same sex, and men
Yes, that was
fetish
my
it,
thing.
fantasize it.
Absolutely. And what I will say is, like, even I know we'll probably get more into it later, is more men have had experiences with men that you will know. Probably like in the younger years, like teenage years, things like that. But
Mhm.
it's like,
Mhm.
do you want transparency? It really is like how what you want from your partner. Do you want an
I
honest
agree.
partner?
I
Because if
agree.
that's a
I
deal
agree.
breaker for you, then I'm
I
sorry,
agree.
your pickings are going to be very slim. Because I'm
Very
not going to,
slim.
because
But
seriously,
not
because
only
men are
that,
just as
go on,
curious
keep
as
talking, baby.
women. Oh yes, I'm sorry, but men are just
Oh,
as
you do your
curious
thing, baby.
as women, but they don't have the opportunities to actually
Opportunity
act
to
on
be
those
cute.
and
Yes.
explore. But that's when people end up being cheated on and all these
Yeah,
things
and that's
and all these
what
things.
that
So
was
it's
my
like,
next question.
yeah.
Do you think that us not being transparent with a man, with his sexuality, uh, stems from? Well, how am I saying this? Do you think us not being transparent with the man, or a man being able to be transparent with us, has something to do, or with the download community?
So yeah, I do think it's
Do
it's
you
a
think
very
we play a
loaded
part
topic.
in, you
Yes,
know what I mean?
absolutely.
A man
Absolutely.
in the man with the download community. I'm sorry, let me phrase that
Absolutely,
right.
but it's not just your
Us.
partner, like the woman. No, it's like a long, long, long line of parents and grandparents and blah blah blah, where you are just the trigger that makes them feel like, okay, I can't do like be transparent. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Because you remind them
Hmm.
of what they have been heard, what they've heard. But the thing is, that's not gonna stop them. I'm gonna tell you something. So there was a guy last year who hit me up, and we've known each other for a while. I've only known him to date women, and he hit me up. We ended up, doing what we do a few times for a while, and then I
A
found out he had a girl.
few.
Yeah, a few times, and it was just like a fling. Like he's very cute, but not my type of man. But I found out he had a girlfriend, and not just like a girlfriend like he had been dating for a few months. Like one day he was leaving my house and was just sitting outside of my house in his car, and I only had him on Snapchat. That's it. And I see him uploading stuff to Snapchat, so I look at his Snapchat and he's posting pictures from 2 and 3 years ago with his girlfriend. He's like, "Can't wait to see you this weekend. Blah blah. Love you so much." All this stuff. And like I immediately put it into that because I don't do that. I feel like that gives a bad rep for like queer men, period. Because I've heard
Mhm.
so many
I
times
agree. I
where people
agree.
say like, "You have him around your boyfriend." Like I don't want none of my friends' boyfriends. I don't want nobody's boyfriend. Okay, I don't do that. Period. Like
I
I
agree.
just
I
don't do
agree.
that.
Because I've
You
had
know?
male friends, gay male friends, when it was just like I felt like it was disrespectful of me as a woman, and maybe this is just me, and I don't know, of them hitting on the straight man, and the straight man not entertaining them. You see what I'm saying? So it's like me
Yeah.
standing there, knowing they're looking at me, wanting me, but you're hitting on them. This man is
Yeah.
not gay. He's not in your community. So why are you? You know what I mean? Maybe I shouldn't feel like that, but it was
No, I
always
think
like you're being
everybody should. I feel
disrespectful
like everybody's
on.
boundaries should be respected. Period. Like,
Okay.
you know, if somebody's not into it, they're just not into it. Even if they're not into it right now, they're going to be into it
I
once
just
you leave
was
the
not
place.
with the whole turning the whole man out type of
Yeah.
sense. You know what I mean? Like if he's not already a gay man, you know what I mean? There is no, in my eyes, you can't turn a man out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that,
I
come on, break it
don't-
down for me, baby. Because in my eyes, I look at it as he
no,
wants
I
to
think
do
if
it.
they are
He
like,
wants to
I've
do it,
never.
and he hasn't experienced it yet. You
Yeah,
see what I'm
that's the
saying? So
thing.
there really
Yeah, if
ain't
a man
no,
is straight, if a man is like straight, like for sure, then there is none. But there's
there is
those
no
men with the
turning them out.
curiosity, and the thing is, I don't.
Yeah.
I've never, because most of this is like all up in my tea, but I don't really care. But the majority of my sexual experiences with men have been men who like weren't out of the closet. Because I used to keep it that way. Because you know the
We were gonna
girls.
ask you that. That's funny. That was one of our questions. Like, have you dated men that were on the DL basically?
I won't say okay. I feel like there's a difference between like not being out and being on the down low. I feel like if you're on the down low, that means you are like down low. You are doing things. You have a partner. You have blah blah blah, and you're lying to people. Or I feel like that's like the idea
Hmm.
Yeah.
when people say down low. But there's a difference because everybody doesn't have to be in your business, and you don't. We don't like queer people don't owe anybody a coming out or explanation because we didn't tell your ass we were straight. Y'all assume that everybody born is straight and blah blah blah. So we don't owe
Agree.
that
I
to you.
agree.
That's
So
true.
you know what I mean? So like I
I
don't want to
agree.
say like so I have had the majority of my sexual experiences with men who weren't out of the closet, but that was just because you know the girls, and when I say the girls, I'm talking about you know the LGBTQ community. The girls are can be a little messy, especially when I lived in Kansas City. You know, people could be like, you know, you sleep with one person, then they telling their friend, and they telling their friend, blah blah blah. And I didn't want that
Yeah.
for me,
Right.
but that backfired on me one time because you know I got a little frisky. This a little OnlyFans type things, but it wasn't on OnlyFans. It was just supposed to be on our phones, and then somebody wanted to, you know, come out the closet and started sharing things.
And
So,
use
y-
you as basically the entryway to get out the closet.
exactly. And
Yeah,
because
that's a
that
Mm.
used to
little
be my
tough.
safety blanket. Like, I used to prefer men who weren't out of the closet because I don't want my business. Personally, I just don't want people sitting and
Mhm.
discussing who I'm sleeping with. It's not that I'm ashamed of anything, but it's just like, I just don't want that conversation. You know, I have so many other things to talk about me. So that was like why I did that. You know what I mean? But that wasn't safe now because like people are coming out and doing their thing, which I'm great, but just leave me out of it, please. You know, like you
Right.
don't know me.
Right.
We ain't ever did nothing. You know, you just started today when you come
That's why
out.
I gotta
Like,
act like a
Right.
bald head. Like, I don't know what you talking about.
So
seriously.
someone in the comments made a good point. She said that she heard that a man has to be curious to be turned out.
Yeah.
So they only have to be curious to be turned out. But my thing is for me and as a woman, I guess I'm a little confused because how do you know if someone's comfortable enough to like initiate that type of experience? Does that make sense? Like for me, I'm straight. I've never had the thought process to like kiss a girl or anything. So I may be ignorant to this sense, but I'm trying to figure out where if a man is appearing to be straight, right? And he has a
Hmm.
girlfriend and a heterosexual relationship for whatever reason, because we know a lot of men are not comfortable for various reasons, whatever the
Yeah.
stigma behind dating men, whatever. So how do they initiate to you or to anyone else that is um pansexual or whatever? How do you know that it's safe to even initiate that? Like, I guess I'm confused. I don't get it. How do they
Well,
how do they exist in the same area? That's, I guess that's what I'm always confused about.
I think it really depends on each person, but like you know how you were saying like when you were introducing me, like I'm good at getting along with people and things like that. So like I've always had many like existed in many friend groups where there were a lot of straight men and they just know that I'm cool. And so
Mhm.
it's like usually it's like let's smoke or let's blah blah. And it's like usually that's not even what's going through my brain either. Because sometimes let's smoke really do just mean let's smoke. Or sometimes they call you for some advice or things like that. It's like I don't know. I've never had anybody explicitly just say, "Yeah, I want to like have this." Oh, actually, okay, yeah, I did one time when I was in high school, but I've never had like, for the most part, that's not how they go about it. Like explicitly saying that. It's usually like we're hanging out, and then it just takes a little turn. Like, and that might have been their intentions, but that was not my intention, and then it becomes a reoccurring thing. But I don't know. I feel like it's a lot more common than people think. At least from I think because I'm on the other side and I actually
I
see the
truly
people who are
believe it's a
actually
lot more common.
approaching. Yeah, and I just even like remember like you know like how people used to always say like how like straight men acted gay in high school or in middle school, like
Mhm.
humping each other, things like that. And it's like you think that that was like it. Like you know what I mean, with all these
Mhm.
hormones raging through their brains and their bodies at that age,
Mhm.
So,
like
have you
Mm.
ever met a man that have hadn't that you shared an experience with, and then he really was legit straight? Like, are they considered still straight after that?
yeah.
Because
Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, everyone because there's a lot of women who I know who also have had experiences and never went back. Like they wanted to see if they liked it, and I feel like we
I'm
need
one of them.
yeah, and I feel like you should
And
encourage exploration in most in people, period, because that is how first off, that's how you end up not being with a man who does not want to be with you for 20 something years because he never even experienced it. Now he's going through a midlife crisis and he's on grinder. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh
I don't know.
wow.
yeah,
I feel like if people want to explore, they're gonna explore, and it's whether you want to know that they've done it or not. Like,
Or
if you want
not. And that's how
transparency,
I agree with you. You need to be transparent. If you have, I can respect you 10 times more. You know what I mean? Be honest with me
yeah.
about it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like it's just like the thing is like because the majority of straight men that I will say like who have encountered me, it's not like we're having full blown sex. Okay, they usually just want oral transactions, and they're usually really nervous. And the thing that actually makes me really sad is like you can see the shame and like guilt in their eyes when they are
Mm-hmm.
leaving, and that makes me sad. Like that, like the last dude, like who I was telling you about, like that made me feel bad, you know, because it's like we shouldn't have to exist like this, period. But I feel like that's like, especially because the DL, even the word DL, like started with like DL black men
yes,
and in the black community. And I think that just points to the like a bigger issue of how queer people are handled in within the black community, period. Because the same shame like that people carry is the same shame that like has people getting their feelings hurt. That also have people getting killed, honestly, because the thing is, I've had even men like turn on me because it's like now I know like their biggest secret. You know what I mean? Or their biggest
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like a threat to them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it's
I
putting
agree.
people at
Yeah.
risk.
Yeah,
And
it's putting people,
so
yeah, yeah, I
and people
agree.
are dying like from things like that. So that's why I think like we can point the finger of like, well, they shouldn't be DL, but blah blah. But the thing is, it comes from we need to ask why are they DL? Because the thing is, homophobia. We can all be very transparent and say that like it is rampant in the world, period. But
it
especially in the
is.
black community. Really, I only care about what's going on in the black community, honestly, because that's what affects me and the people that I love the most. And I think that's the conversation. Like if we're going to talk about DL people and all these things, we need to talk about like everything, like how we contribute to like DL culture, if that
I was
makes
just
sense.
about
You
to
know what I
say
mean?
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you
yeah.
feel like, and this is my opinion, and I know this may rub some people the wrong way, but do you feel like black women are the leader of the homophobia movement? I personally
Absolutely
do.
not.
I actually
Absolutely not.
do.
I think okay. I think we got to talk about patriarchy. is the leader of homophobia and like anti-LGBTQ. So it's not even just white men, black men, blah blah blah. It's just
Mhm.
masculinity, the identity of masculinity that we have been given by white men. You know what I mean? I feel like that is the enemy. I feel like black women have fallen victim to that ideal because the thing is
Mm.
they're told like, oh, we're competing with them, we're blah blah blah, and all these things. And I've had several times because all of my friends are black and black women for the
Mhm.
most part, and I've had so many times where like I have a disagreement and now it's fag this, fag that, blah blah, and it's like that's like the equivalent to you being friends with a white person. Now it's like nigger this, nigger that, blah blah. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
think
I
black
can see
women
your
have
point on that.
simply fallen victim to like these patriarchal views. But I do think the most love that I have gotten like was from black women in my life, period. The most consistent love that I've experienced, period, in my life, like period, from anyone has been from black women. So I can't say that
I
because I
love
know like the
that.
people who stood up for me were black women. The first people who ever stood up for me, my black sisters, like my birth sisters were the ones who stood up to me, even to my parents. And so I can't say that just based off of my experience. I do see the homophobia in black women, but I don't see it as like stemming from them. I see where it
Mhm.
stems from. You know what I mean? And that's why like that rhetoric that we are trying to take their place or take their mans. That's why I was saying like I don't like how it makes gay people look when people seek out like straight men or like and they know they have girlfriends and things like that because that rhetoric is harmful and that's where we see that
Mhm.
like black women being homophobic or transphobic and things like that.
Like for
Hmm.
me as a black woman and who of course dates a black man, I ask that question because when I see the homophobia things or when I see how women are, our dating pool as black people in
Yeah.
general is so low, I always have to question myself like, am I making sure that I'm not, regurgitating something that's homophobia by saying like I want a black man who has never had an experience, or is it, like someone was like, is it gay if a man packs his lunch? That little nasty joke
Yeah.
that's going around. Am I always try to make sure that I'm conscious of not like repeating those type of things or doing those type of things because I do feel like black women, we are able to really move the world in any direction, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
we can move it
Mhm.
Absolutely.
to a more positive way because we are the ones that's giving birth to y'all, whether y'all gay, straight, pan, whatever it is.
Exactly.
So it's like as a mother, is it a shame? Because we do have moms out here right now, like the kitchens, the do you
Yeah,
buy your son a
absolutely.
kitchen?
There are, but that stems from patriarchy, but that is an issue. Like these kids, first off, you cannot make a kid gay. Let me tell you something, because I
Mm-hmm.
grew up seeing straight people on TV all day. I grew up seeing straight people you got to realize like queer kids, they grow up in like outside of the box. So we see all the standards that y'all show us and everything, we see that like you guys are the norm. You know what I mean? Heterosexual sexuality is normal. And so it's like you think if we are flooded with all these images of straight people all day, everywhere we see, I never even knew a gay person growing up. You know what I mean? All I knew is
Mm-hmm.
that I wanted to marry Uncle Jesse on Full House. Like
What?
that's all I knew. Yes, that was my first
Okay.
crush. That was my first crush. And I think like that's a whole nother thing. But the thing is people view like because of like I said, like how like being gay or trans or whatever is seen, parents see it as a failure. You know what I mean? But I think also it's also like parents know how the world sees it, and like they almost become their kids' first bully, trying to scare them out of being that way because they know their life will be harder in ways, if that makes sense. So I feel like a
Mhm.
lot of it, the root of it is love, because I think about my own mom and like how like she is now with a woman, which is crazy. But her and my dad have been married for my whole life, and my dad was a minister and
Wow.
very conservative, very, I don't want to call them homophobic because they just did not know any better, but it was
At that
homophobic.
time, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like my mom, she really would be telling me like, "Don't do this," blah, blah, blah. But I know she was really trying to protect me from the world, from my dad, because she know what my dad's gonna say. You know what I mean? And sometimes it would
Yeah.
like I feel like that's like what a lot of women, especially women of boys, they see how the world treats gay men, because there's a lot of women who like they'll have gay friends, but they don't want their son to be gay. You know what I mean? And it's like I know that they love me as a person, but it's like it's a little offensive because they love me when I'm like entertaining, but they think there's something inherently wrong with me. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And they wouldn't want their son
Yeah,
to be like that. But
yeah,
I have to get put
yeah.
my feelings to the side because I understand that where this comes from. You know what I mean? And that this
Wow, wow. I
this is
never
like
looked on it. I never looked at it that point. Thank you for really
yeah.
coming here and
But
educating
this is
because
very subconscious. This is all like this is programming. And this is not just
yeah,
programming that
yeah.
happened in our lifetime. This is decades and centuries of programming. And so it's like that's why I was happy. Leslie didn't really tell me everything they were going to talk about, but she gave me a little hint and I was so excited because I think like this type of discourse is important because everybody wants to like be politically correct and like
mhm.
afraid of saying the wrong thing, but sometimes the saying the wrong thing gives you the opportunity to like be like get clarification. So
Right.
I'd
Or
rather
get,
you
like
say
I
the
said, an
wrong
eye
thing.
opening because that comment that you just
Yeah.
made was something that I had to think of. Because, like I said, I have gay male friends, but I was like, I love my gay male friends, as like you said, but it's like I still don't want my son to be a gay man. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was like when you said that, it was like that was me. I was that woman. I'm that woman. And you, like I said, this is just all eye opening. That's why we're having this conversation to make
Yeah.
people think differently of themselves and the decisions that they make and how they treat people and you know what I mean, what they do. So
Yeah,
And
because just imagine oh wait, what are you saying, Audrey?
we really wanted to get to the root of why it's such a big difference when a woman says that she has had an experience with the same sex and it's easily brushed over versus how we all and myself because I'm guilty. I'm not gonna come on here and lie. Like I really, if my husband said that he wanted to
Mm.
experience a man or he has experienced a man, I would be upset. But why I don't know if that
It's
makes sense.
because of the way that we are like programmed, especially women. This is all it's all patriarchy at the end of the day. The way that women are sexualized, like if a woman tells a man that she's had experience with a woman, he sees a way that he could possibly benefit from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's turned on by that.
mhm.
So it's not the same, but
Right.
a lot of women want like one man. They don't see the benefit in having two men at a time. And men aren't sexualized in the same way. So
And
it's
for
not
me,
gonna be
I
like
don't want
this.
my husband to be I don't wanna catch him watching gay porn or, like, that's not
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. That's the connotation that I have under it, and I don't know if any
Yeah.
of the other women in the chat feel that way, but if a man was to tell me that he's had an experience with a man, I personally I am someone that I'm a thinker, so I'm gonna be like, "My motherfucker was probably looking at his ass at the store.
Yeah,
Do he
no,
like
but
him?
that's
Is he
you.
at a
That's you.
party?"
You know, that's like you have to like think about you. Like, I don't know, because it's like it's not I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of these things that are just kind of like triggers, like, oh my
Yeah.
God, but it's like the root of it is always you. It's somewhere in you. Cause I can't tell you why I feel like there as a whole, like patriarchy, we have been like women can get away with sexual experiences because a man can gain from that in some way in their brains, and so it's not this big thing, or women don't even think because even women have been brainwashed by patriarchy. But the thing is it's like men, I don't know, I feel like we wonder why men are so angry and so blah blah in the ways that we're taught, and like they have no like I don't know. They don't have that ability to or the opportunity to express themselves or
As
explore
much as
themselves,
we do.
and so they
Yeah.
don't know who they are a lot of times. And that's why a lot of women get. That's why I feel like when I do meet women who are like homophobic in any little way, I just want you to know like you are creating your own suffering as well because the
Mhm.
same things that you punish men for
Mhm.
being is the same thing reason that you are being punished by them in turn. You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
they don't know
Mhm.
how to be open, they don't know how to be emotional, they don't know who they are. So you get them and you get this grown ass man who has no clue who he wants, doesn't know
Mhm.
how he knows he has feelings for you, but he all he knows is that he was supposed to have feelings for you. You know what I
I
mean?
love
Right,
that.
right,
Yes.
right,
It's
right.
so true. And like India said, she's in the comments, she said, I think the difference between women and men in homosexual experience is due to the masculinity aspect
Yeah.
and the penetration aspects. And I definitely agree. Like it's a gross thing. It's like, ugh, but with girls, it's like,
Yeah.
ooh.
And that's true, but I've even met gay men. Actually, my last boyfriend did not want to be penetrated. Like he was not into it because he's like because of that whole masculinity thing. Like it's like
Mm.
I don't, and I was like, not my type of nigga. Like I need somebody who go we could switch it up, you know, like I
Right.
don't know, but
Comfortable
it's
with
not even just that, but it's just like it's not even just the sexual aspect, but for me, I'm not into like roles or like performing like because you know me, like if you follow me on social media, I will like be in some like sneakers and Adidas tracksuit or whatever, and then I'll be in a skirt the next day. Like I like to live how I like to live, and you're not about to like
okay.
damage
Y'all,
these
he used to
roles
wear these
of
boots.
masculinity. These
These
heels,
little
like literally,
boots.
I just like to be who I want to be, like, and I don't want to be caught in these roles. But like that's the thing, like I said, like past patriarchy and masculinity, it literally affects every community, every corner. Like even gay men like fall victim of wanting to uphold that. So that's why I would say, like when Audrey, you're saying like oh, like I find myself feeling like this, but like don't beat yourself up for it because we all have it in us at some point, like because that's what we're taught. And so it's like what I've learned as an adult is like re-education and like
Mhm.
self-exploration. Like why do I believe
Mhm.
what I want to believe, or like what I believe?
Mhm.
Because like when
Mhm.
we are talking about like how having a like gay friend or something and not wanting your kid to be gay, and it's like I said, I know
Mhm.
my friends love me. I know that, but it's also insulting because, and like not even insulting, like, it's hurtful, and that's
Hurtful.
harder
It's
to say than
hurtful.
hurtful because
Yeah.
like you believe
Yeah.
there's something inherently wrong with me, but you love how I make you feel. Because one of like my friends told me like I was the first example of a black man loving her that she ever had. Like she didn't have a dad, she didn't have a blah blah blah, or like brothers, her like anything, and I was the first example. And it's like I'm good enough for that, and I really see you and really loved on you. I feel like that's like the situation with most women. Like I have such a great connection with them, and like give them a love that they have never even really experienced from me, but you still viewed there's something that's inherently wrong with me, even though I was more capable of doing like providing you with love than any of these men who you think are like right or like living the right way, you know what I
Mm.
mean? And
Mm.
it's like it's
I
it's
was
in, it's
considered
hurtful.
right.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I wish you guys could see my air quotes, because that's what I was saying. Like you guys think this is the right way, but these people, and not saying there's anything against like, especially straight black men, because they have their own like deprogramming to do. But it's like
Mhm.
when I know that like I've loved someone so purely and they think that there's something wrong with me, even if they won't say it, and it is hurtful. I feel like just like examining these ideas and getting to the root of why we feel like this is what we need to do as a community. And I wish we could even do this with like more straight black men, because there's
Yeah.
no like
Mhm.
coming together. Like this is one thing, like black people as a whole tell queer black people like you're black first all the time. But it's
Mhm.
like if we're black, first off, I don't, not one part of me steps into a room before I step into a room. I come into a room whole, period.
Hey,
But if I'm black first, then y'all act like that I'm black first, because that's what y'all try to shove through like down our throats. But y'all don't rally for queer black people. Y'all don't like come, you know what I mean, support queer black
Very
people.
true.
Like trans black women are being killed at an alarming rate because of this transphobia and homophobia, because men don't realize or like don't understand why they're attracted to them. So they, because that's what it is. Because if I could see somebody and go about my business looking however they look, there's no reason that you are harassing someone unless they stir something up in you, whatever it is.
exactly.
And so
Exactly.
it's
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
but men can't understand or they can't reconcile within them that I'm attracted to this person, so I must be this, and this means that I'm this, and this means, you know what I mean? And so they
Yeah.
lash out and they
Yeah.
take it, and it's like black people are dying, literally dying because
Mhm.
of this. And it's like, so if you
Yeah.
care, if I'm black first, then care about that. You know what I mean? Because we like people think everybody has a right to their opinion, and it's like, yeah, everybody does have a right to your opinion. And I pray that education helps people change their opinion, but people are dying based off of this rhetoric as well. And it's something that's not even broadcasted as much like on the news
It's
because
not.
of how, you know what I mean? So people don't even see,
Yeah.
but it's like to the point where when these trans girls go missing, these trans black women go missing, their
Mhm.
moms aren't even looking for them. Their dads aren't even looking for them. Like
Mm.
Wow.
we wonder
Wow.
why there's like a disconnect between like the queer community and like the black community as a whole. But it's like because we are each other's family. A lot of us have been disowned by parents,
Mhm.
uncles, aunts, and it's like when these people are going missing or we're going through, like we are each other's community, and we would love to be a part of the bigger, but we've been rejected from that a lot of the times. And so I think this like discourse is just so necessary on many levels, because all we have as a whole as black people are each other. And so these little
Yep.
divisions within blah blah, like, oh, like that's getting us nowhere. So that's why I think it's funny when I hear like a lot of especially black men who are trying to be like civil rights leaders these days or whatever, and it's like, but it's not inclusive at all, and it's only for people who live like him and believe like him. But it's like you have queer sisters and brothers who have been working in liberation, because when queer black people fight, they don't just fight for themselves, you know what I mean, they fight
They
for
fight for women's
everybody.
rights. They
You know
really
what I
do. That is so
Mhm.
mean?
true. When
You
we
know
were
what I mean?
prepping for this episode, we were me, Normandy, and Mimi. We were all talking, and we was trying to be honest and try to figure out, like, how we was gonna navigate this show. And the
Mhm.
question came up was, okay, if our brother, because we have a little brother,
Mhm.
if he said he was gay, how would we feel? Me and Mimi was like, we wouldn't feel no type of way, right? We was like,
Mhm.
it would be
Mm-hmm.
cool. Or if he even said that he had an experience with a man, it wouldn't be tea for
It
us.
wouldn't bother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be anything that moved us. We'd be like, okay, how you feel? And he said,
Right.
I didn't like it. I want to date a girl. We was easily like, we was able to separate the two. But when the question came up, if it was
Not a
our
partner.
children
Yeah.
or if it was
Or
an ex-lover. So if one of
it
our
just
ex-lovers
really,
came on
yeah,
on Facebook and said he is no longer straight, he is gay, or we seen him with a man, how would we feel? And we instantly said
and
that
we
we would feel
immediately,
shame.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But that's the shame of being like attached to like that adjacent, like, oh, did you know? Like that's the thing. Shame does not stop at the person who being shamed. Like goes to the people attached to that person being shamed. You know what I mean? Like that's why like has to be corrected. But the crazy thing is I am actually friends with women that I dated before I came out.
Wow. So how long, okay, so before you came out and you were dating women, how long did it take for you to realize like that you wanted to make other experiences? How long did it take?
Okay, so like I came out when I was probably like, oh shit, I was in like seventh grade, but I don't. I say can't come out very loosely because I think everybody kind of knew. Like I know my family knew for a fact, even though they didn't really acknowledge it and like were act like aggressively against it. But probably like when I was like 13 ish, and but just think about your dating pool in middle school, and then think about it as a man who's attracted to other men, and so it wasn't really that much going on. So I still dated women, but I just came out as like bisexual, and but there was a girlfriend that I had. Her name was Destiny. She doesn't mind, but we ended up.
Okay.
Yeah, she doesn't mind. We talked. She literally asked me like, "Remember when we were boyfriend and girlfriend? And you did this, like, just joking, like, all the time." She does not mind, like, but and she's like, people always said that you were gay, but I was like, I don't believe it. But she doesn't care, and like we're like really good friends now, like really really good friends. Like that's one of my homegirls. But I think it's different. Like I don't know. I feel like it's different as now that we're older, because people like when you're like a teenager, you're not looking to get married right away usually and things like that. But
Mhm.
now when you're dating, people are looking for their husband or their wife or their whatever. So it's like essentially it feels like when you're just not disclosing, you're also like withholding information. You're kind of taking advantage of people and not letting them make a choice of like who they want to build their life with. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And so I
Mm-hmm. I
understand
agree.
some of, you know what I mean? So it's like a bit more like higher stakes now, like as an adult and not disclosing, which I don't think people like I said, nobody has to make a formal declaration that I am this or I am that, blah blah. But I feel like when it comes to someone that you're trying to create a future with, I believe in transparency on all levels. So you should disclose. Like that should be something you disclose, period. But I understand why people don't.
Have you
Like
ever asked
Yeah.
someone that you've been with, that you've had an experience with, like a man, like, and you know that he may go back to his girlfriend or he may date a woman, have you ever asked him like, you know, why don't you just tell them that you've had an experience with a man? Like, have you ever questioned why they don't go out and just tell people? Or do you
no,
automatically
because
know why?
yeah, because I also grew up as a gay black man, and I know what I had to deal with at my age. Like, luckily, like my parents found out, which is why I ended up having to come out. But like some men, like, they've never had any experiences where they were forced out, and now they didn't dated women and blah blah. So there's more people that you like can hurt by coming out. You know what I mean? Like, but like,
Mm-hmm.
whereas me as a like teenager, I haven't had any really serious relationships, and there's nobody who's gonna come out act like I bamboozled them or I blah blah blah, and it won't be tea really. Like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But it's like now, like as an adult, I definitely understand. You know, especially it's so crazy the men who like try the most to like keep up these like standards of masculinity um, are the ones who come to my DMs the most. You know what I mean? It's never the ones with
Mm-hmm.
the DL rumors or the ones who are just a little feminine, the one that people be mean to. It's always the football players or the blah blah, like dead ass. It's always the ones who you would never suspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
never the ones
Yeah.
who people like have those little rumors going around. It's never them. It's always
I
the ones
agree.
who look like the perfect example of what it means to be masculine and all these things, and now they're in my DM at 2 in the morning asking me what I like to use to smoke. You know what I mean?
Oof. Oh wow.
I like,
It's so
okay, so India
educational.
had made a very good point. I wanted to pin this real quick. She said, but these organizations don't stand for Black women either. LGBTQIA aren't the only ones excluded. Our community as a whole needs a lot of work. And I wholeheartedly agree with that, India, because I feel like we have so many segregations within our community for various
Mm-hmm.
reasons, whether it is, I don't like her. I don't like, because I
Yeah,
know even in the gay community, and I've had to check myself with this. I personally don't like the gay men that are on, TikTok or Instagram who immolate women or Black women, and they always come off as ghetto and ignorant. I'm like, who the fuck are y'all
yeah,
watching? Like, why do y'all
I
act like that? And I
understand
always
that.
go back to you, Christian, because I know that you dress up and you do role play and stuff, but you're never disrespectful with it. But there
Yeah,
are a lot of gay men that I feel disrespected by, and I'm like, you don't like my guy, my girl,
but a
whatever.
lot of times
You
those
don't.
people be they don't even be Black as well.
Yes, they don't
Because
even be
that
Black.
offends me as well, because I feel like they just see Black people as a caricature. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but I
I'm
see
Yeah.
that like because I
like,
think
no.
about like a lot of popular TikTokers and people who even Black people have made go viral, which is the craziest thing. Like, and
Mhm.
it's like that's not flattering to me either,
Yeah.
because I feel like first off, like most of the Black women that I know don't speak like that. But why is that the only? You
Why
know
is
what
that
I
your only
mean?
character?
Right.
Why is that your only
Yeah.
Yeah, and
character?
Yeah.
it's
Like,
like,
we know why you can't make fun of Becky? Why you can't do her? Like, why do you always have to do Bonquisha,
but
who
that's because
doesn't exist? Like,
yeah,
she doesn't exist. It's just a
exactly.
figment of your imagination.
Like, come on, where's Joe? That's why we like Joanne the scammer because she emulated
Yes.
the white ladies. But it's like it does make. I understand why that would be insulting, like 100%. I don't like it either. Especially, I feel like it's one thing if like you're like a queer Black person and that's just how you are, because a lot of the girls are still from the streets, and so they do have a little bit of that. But it's like when it's like the people who aren't even Black and they are putting that on, or even like there are some of them like who are even still Black. I just thought of one of them, and yeah, I see why that would be offensive. Like when I think about it, I don't follow him or anything, but first off, it's like why I feel like after, when you see the way that like Black women already are represented as a whole,
Mhm.
why would you want to add to that when your voice isn't even needed in this conversation, if that makes sense? And a lot of these people be quote unquote straight me, you know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
blame it on Clay. Yeah,
Yeah,
Clay
that's what
White.
I was
Yeah.
thinking about. That's what I was
And I
thinking
think
about.
he's
Who
funny, but I
is it?
started to get turned off because it did become a little too much as me. And I'm gonna read India's comment next, but it came off too much as me because I'm like, okay, the first three videos was funny. It was a key. But then it was like, damn, you need some new details because everybody ain't out here beating up their baby daddy. Everybody
Yeah.
ain't out here trying
Who
to get a
is it?
nigga for their money. Blame it on Quayway or whatever
And
Oh,
the
if they
name
are,
is.
let a Black woman who is actually doing that be
Yeah, but
famous for
why
doing
can't
that.
we? It's like for
Like,
us, we are always playing these same roles. We are either a
yeah,
slave, a
Yeah.
crackhead, or a ghetto bitch.
Yeah.
We are
right.
none of
Yeah.
those. Like we
Or
are
being a
literally,
domestic, or being, beat up,
yeah,
you
right.
know what I mean? Domestic, or, being
yeah. Like
left,
we
or
are
being the
so much
single mamas,
more.
or, yeah.
If you want to be a girl, like whatever you want to be a guy, because I see stuff. Women aren't out here you know, I don't see the same, if that makes sense. Like, I don't see that they, and maybe I don't see it because I don't know, because I'm not a
Y-
man, duh. But if I don't see studs do the same thing that some of these funny gay characters on Instagram and TikTok are, and it baffles me sometimes, because I'm like, why can't y'all dress up like educated women and talk
Yeah,
like that? Because that is a trend these
Yeah.
days. Like, black girl
Mhm.
luxury is a trend. Why are you still running around here calling yourself Rosita?
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But India says, as a black woman, I don't appreciate being blamed for women, for men being the L or not standing up for people, etc. Why are we blamed for black men problems all the time? And that's why I asked earlier, India, if Christian felt like black women were the force to homophobia, because I do hear that all the time, and I started to believe it at one point. Like, damn, are we the problem? So I do agree with you,
Yeah.
India. Like, I
But
do,
I disagreed with Audrey, just to
but
let you
he
know.
did disagree with
Yeah, I
me.
don't believe that. And I don't think that black women, like I said, they aren't the, we are all victims of this same teaching. But I feel like with women, black women are told different things from these things. They're told, first off, that their man is at risk. You know what I mean? Their identity is at risk because we want to be them. And you know what I mean? And all these things.
Yeah.
So there's a different
Mhm.
level
Yeah.
of, you know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? So, like, but we all carry a different, like, you know what I mean? Like a different responsibility or a different role that we play in this chaos, you know. But I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
think like that. That's why I said like I don't think black women should be
I
like
don't think
blamed
we're to
for
blame.
it.
I just wanted to know what role we played in it. I didn't
Yeah,
want to say blame. Did we? I know we play a role in what. How do we? You know what I mean? Like I said, make the black man feel more comfortable and transparent with himself sexually in the
cause
bedroom. You know what I mean? Because if
yeah,
he is a straight man and he claims to be a straight man, but if he wants to experience other sexual things, how do we make him feel comfortable
And
to
I
where he
just got
doesn't feel like he is, you know what I mean, gay or weird for
yeah.
trying to do other sexual things? So
Yes, I wanted to
that was
say
my
that as
question.
well because I feel like a lot of
You
men
know what I
also
mean?
are very vanilla when it comes to sex, from what I hear from my friends. But it's like they don't know
What's
like
vanilla,
what,
baby?
like just very boring, you know,
boring.
bland.
Oh, okay.
You
Okay.
know, missionary or back shots. That's your two options.
Right.
Like, but they don't really explore because it's like, shoot, they might because this is just what I've heard from my friends. But there's a lot of men who like to have their ass ate.
I was
You
just
know.
Well, Trick Daddy started, saying
Yeah.
that.
And but
So it was
that doesn't
like,
they don't
what
want a man they don't want a man to
do
do
it?
it. They like when
No,
they're
they want a
girlfriend.
woman to do it. So
Yeah.
does
And
it
so
make
that's
a
not gay.
man? That's what I was saying. So that's what it was like. Okay,
And
I
I
know
don't think
I ain't doing that, me
yeah, and that's
personally, but I
okay if
know
you
there
don't
are
want
women out there that will probably want to do that, but they won't do it because they feel like, oh, well, you know what I mean? So it's like,
and
you
the thing
gotta,
is, a man's G spot is in his
yeah.
ass.
It's
Like,
a
and so the people don't. A lot of people don't know that, and that's why when people be talking like all this crazy homophobia stuff, like the gay people are going to hell. I'm like, well, girl, why did God put it up there? He clearly intended for somebody to find it, okay? And we found it. Like that does not make any sense to me. Like it's literally up there. Their prostate is their G spot, and
India said a
so
lot of women eat ass. I have never.
yes,
believe it or not, they do.
Dude, I'm not
A
getting
lot of
nowhere
women
where you
do.
shit. Hell no, man,
Well,
no.
you
I'm not
gotta
eating
have a.
nobody's ass.
That's everybody. I
So
mean,
would y'all
to
I
be
each his
barely like to
own.
wipe my kid's butt. Like, hell no. It ain't my kid. Nah.
you know, it's just I don't know. You don't. Sometimes it just happens. You know, like you just
Like I said, to each
already
Mhm.
his own.
down there.
Everybody got a
You,
preference, you
Different
yeah,
strokes for
know.
different folks.
and you already be
I will
down there
show.
anyway.
Look,
It's
I
like what's
sure
a
will
little
scoop
lower?
my booty on up. So I I ain't gonna get in mine. I ain't doing whatever.
So
But
would y'all feel comfortable with because I literally just had this conversation with my friends, and I had asked one of my male friends, and I was asking their friends like, hey, like would you ever, want your girl to, eat the groceries or whatever, and nah, oh no, that's they would say like, that's gay. That no. And I was just like, I mean, I wouldn't say it's gay because they're just comfortable with their sexuality. That's what they prefer. But if you don't prefer that, just say that. But don't, they have that mindset like, okay, if I do this, this means like it was gay. But one of his friends was like, oh, I'm telling you now, I already did that with me and my girl. I'm like, okay, look, I don't blame you. And
Yeah,
but
I
because
mean,
because
like, you
I
never
mean I like
know.
when people just live like that's what you're comfortable with, and you're doing that with somebody you love and you care for. So go ahead. I mean, I couldn't do it
Yes.
to my mans, but I also asked them, would you do anal? Have you ever did anal with your girl and this and that? And how do you feel that guys do that? And they was like, um, they can do it, and they was like they can do it a couple of times, but if you do it a whole lot on the day to day, or I'm like, you can't just count. They said they could gay. I'm like, how you gonna count each time, and then oh okay after the 13th time is gay or something. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. What you're comfortable with your partner. And I was like, I experienced that, but with my significant other in the past. But do I consider him being gay for doing that? Sorry if I'm getting personal, but yeah, it's like be true to you. If you feel comfortable doing that with your girl, or if you feel comfortable doing that with your boyfriend or whatever, I mean, live your truth. So it doesn't classify you being gay or not gay, or this and that. It's just what you prefer.
This was a
Yes, and I
really
think,
good educational
yeah,
conversation tonight. You have really, hopefully, you've opened up a lot of people's eyes. You know what I mean?
For
Educated a
sure.
lot of people. I know you have
Hmm.
educated me as well. Um, when it comes to a lot of things. So,
yeah, I really have fun, and I feel like people like. I wish people knew like discourse can also be entertaining and fun because nobody got heated or offended or blah blah blah. Everybody
no,
just
no, it was
listened, and we
all
just had a
education.
conversation. You
Yeah.
know, and I like this was fun because like a lot of people when they're confronted with things certain like that they say, oh, I do this or blah blah, they could get defensive. But I feel like we can have this discourse on so many levels, like about so many topics, because everybody came with the same goal of listening. And I think that was really fun. Like I had a
Hmm.
lot of fun here. Y'all can have me anytime.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
open
honey.
mic.
Well, we sure appreciate you coming. And
Yes, thank.
again, like I said, opening our eyes to a lot of things and educating us and as well as others. So people
Yes, thank
can be
you.
educated about it. So thank you. Miss
Thank you.
Normie tonight.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened to
I
her.
enjoyed this week because we like I said, people was like, don't talk about that. You better not do it. You better not do it. And we was like, foot on the gas. We on your ass. Like we
Look,
didn't
Period.
care. We was
apply
like, we're gonna
pressure,
talk
baby.
about it
Apply
because
pressure.
it's real. Like we are not gonna keep ignoring the elephants in the room. Like because I feel like
Yeah.
with gay people speak for heterosexual problems all the time as far as on their podcast and the way that they talk about things. Like India said, like there was a gay podcast where they were blaming black women and things like that. So why can't we as heterosexual women talk about this with someone
Yeah,
that
and y'all
should be
did
our
it fair.
ally?
Y'all did it really fair. Like y'all, like I said, you brought in someone, so it's just not like a soundproof room, which most podcasts don't even do. They just have their
Exactly.
own people and they just talk. But that allows the conversation to actually go somewhere and be transformative. So I think y'all did everything right. So everybody, some people might have stuff to say, but I think y'all really came in it with the right intentions for one, and like not coming like with a point to prove or saying this, but really with open
Mm-mm.
ears.
No, we
And
just
so
want to
like
be
y'all
really
did it
open
right.
because it's like I said, it's 2022, and my biggest thing is like you said, people are dying from this, and people can't be
Hmm.
Yeah.
transparent and open. And I guess I'm finding myself literally at this time finding myself. So it's like, you know what I mean? If someone was to step and find themselves, are they wrong for being how they are? And
Yeah.
I had one of my good close friends, like family member, asked me this question a while ago, and she was like, "Shit, if he was to do what he do, would you stop fucking with him?" And then I seen it again on Insecure, so I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I would. Now I'm not saying I wouldn't. At the end of this conversation, I was just like, no, 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 no. But now I'm honestly gonna say, I don't know, y'all. I don't know if I
I
was
love
to
to
meet a
hear
man
it.
later on in life and he was to say he had an experience and he didn't like it, that I would just side eyed him or not talk to him for that. So that's just
Yeah, I feel like
I don't you know what I mean? Especially if he was to be very open and honest with it. I
mhm.
respect honesty. You know what I mean? That's the line and the sneaky shit that I can't, you know what I mean, deal with. And not only that, us as women, we accept so much more from these men. and we accept them cheating, we accept them hurting us, and giving the baby
Woo!
mamas and doing all these other things. But if he, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't know, y'all. This was a good conversation for me. This
Yeah,
was
for
this was
me,
needed for
I
all
would
of
have
us.
to have a detailed conversation about it. Shit, like I would need to know, and
I
I'm
said
just
I don't
being
know if I would or
Hey,
honest.
wouldn't.
that's
Like I
growth.
said, me
That is growth
too.
from what you said at the
You know
beginning.
what I mean?
So
It's
we
still
work.
probably gonna be
I
a
don't
no,
know.
Christian, but I'm still gonna ask because
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
got to,
like
but that's
that.
just like if somebody cheated on you. Anytime you find anything, blah blah, you want to
Mhm.
know the details. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So you
Yeah,
can make an
yeah, of
educated
course.
decision to know everything that went into that, and like how serious of a thing. So it's like you that aren't wrong
Yeah.
for
And
wanting
for
to
me,
know.
I'm not even trying to be a hypocrite because I've never had any thoughts of kissing a girl. Like our little sister, not Leslie, but we have a adolescent little sister, and you know that whole phase, everybody, all the little kids is gay. So she's like, "I'm gay." I'm like, "Girl, you want to kiss a girl? You want to eat her box?" And when I said it to her, she was grossed out. Like she was like, "Ooh, no." So I'm like, "See, you don't know what it is." So the way that she
What
was
it
grossed
is,
out, that
yeah.
to me, like I don't want to put my face in nobody's box. Like I'm like, "Ooh, she looking at me. It's one eye." Like like I don't want to do that. So for if a man tells me that he did it, I would want to know like what got you there because I've never
Oh, that
been
makes
there.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I need to
I would
know
want to
why
know
you
as
was
well.
curious.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because maybe I wanted to say on this, maybe it was more deeper than just him, you know what I mean, wanting to try something. Maybe
Yeah.
he
Did you
really
like him?
is.
Did you
Maybe
have
something,
feelings? Was it a
or did you
vibe?
have a bad experience? Did someone hurt you to where you want to do? I want to get really in depth.
Well,
So
I
I
had a
don't
bad
know.
experience with anal, so I can believe it. I can
Me
believe
too,
it.
girl.
Yeah.
I don't work out of that hole.
Like,
We gotta be
Well,
married or something.
I don't
so
mind how.
Leslie, have you ever had a experience before with another girl? I know Mimi says she has. Have you?
I the most I did with the girl probably last year was like made out. Or like I have like friends that like their
I
way
think
like
I remember this on your
uh,
Snapchat. Hmm.
no, I don't put nothing on my Snapchat, baby. I'm telling you that now. But
Mimi, you remember that last year? We was like, who that girl?
I
no, that
saw some
oh my
pictures with that
gosh,
girl.
girl, I was at a party and I was just on Snap with the girl. Literally, I didn't make out with
Mm.
that girl, but this other friend I did make out with her, and I was drunk or whatever. It was cool. So I was a good kisser. I'm like,
It was cool. Look,
girl.
hell.
Went home past that.
So, did you have any questions for Christian Leslie?
I'm sorry if y'all hear Zane. He just came in here. But so
Now, sure
I
ass ain't
don't.
got no damn questions.
She ain't got no damn questions.
She
I
ain't
was
got no
going
damn
to.
questions.
Okay, I did have one question, Christian. Um, do you feel like them? Well, do you feel like society? Because I was watching a show with my son, and they Okay, I'm just gonna say, do you feel like when it comes to kids, when it comes to little kids, like is should they be putting on like people expressing like different sexuality to our kids, or should it be a certain way? Like, what is your thoughts on that?
So this is like one of the most common topics people always ask me about, but I don't. Okay, I feel like if you're gonna have couples who are straight showing affection or whatever it is, then you should also have queer people. But I feel like the thing is like what you don't realize is like imagine if you're only shown one version of how you're supposed to be. And like this is when
Mm-hmm.
people say representation matters. And then so you grow up thinking there's something wrong with you because you don't fit into any of these boxes because you weren't even told there were other options. You know what I mean? And so
Mm-hmm.
it's like you grow up thinking there's something wrong with you. That was me. Like for a long time, because I never even know like I didn't know what the word gay was. I thought it was an insult because that's the only way that I had ever heard it was an
Me too.
insult. And so
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, us too.
I just knew I wasn't gay. You know what I mean? Whatever you say, I wasn't gay. But I did know, like when I was like what 5 years old, that I liked Uncle Jesse on Full House. Like I remember getting into a big argument with my grandma because she told me like like I need to open the door for her. So when I have a wife, I know what to do, blah, blah. And I said, I want a husband. I want Uncle Jesse. And nobody told me. I had never seen a gay family before. I had never heard of that. I didn't know that anybody even believed it was wrong. I just knew that's what I liked.
Yeah.
And so it's like you can't really influence or sway people in that way, like as you think, because kids know, and like people don't draw these boundaries when it comes to kids. Like, oh, his little girlfriend or his little blah blah. They are so comfortable with that. But you see a queer person on TV, and like all hell breaks loose. But you don't think about the kids who families do look like that. You know what I mean? And they never see anybody who looks like their family on there, like with two moms or two dads or blah blah. Like we don't see that. We don't see that at all. And the crazy thing is, because like being gay is such a taboo or being queer is such a taboo,
Mhm.
it's very dangerous because nobody wants to educate these kids because it's not a topic they want to talk about. And so we go into our adulthoods and we're taking advantage of it. Like I'm just gonna be very transparent. Like nobody had like a sex talk with me as far as like queer, like gay sex or whatever. Nobody talked to me about like dating safely and blah blah. So when there's a lot of younger queer people who like they get into this world, and there's a lot of people who are ready to take advantage of their naive, like them being naive, or because everything has to be in a secret, be a secret because a lot of families don't agree, blah blah. They're put at risk because now they're meeting up with God knows who and doing God
Mhm.
knows what. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Like when I say like all of this stuff, like representation is important because when we are people are going to educate themselves whatever way. And so it's like, are we going to take the time to educate the kids on who they are, who they can be, or whatever, blah blah, and show them, or are they going to have to go learn in the streets? You know what I mean? And which is more dangerous. And so
Mhm.
I do believe like that there should be queer people on TV because the thing is we exist. We do exist. We exist in everybody's lives. And it's like it's sad like that we are like constantly put in like the background. And it's like even like in like media, like outside of kids shows, it's like we could do y'all's hair, we could do y'all's makeup, we could do blah blah, we could choreograph y'all dances, write y'all songs, but we can't be in the stage because once we on the stage, oh, it's a
I
problem.
love
You know what
you.
I
This is
mean?
just so
Yes.
little Boosie. We coming for
You
you,
know,
honey. You need to
you know what I
educate.
mean? But we can do everything. We could get your girl together for Valentine's Day so she could come look cute to you. Get her, you know what I
You
mean? We
know,
could do
little
all these
Boosie
things,
coming for
but
you.
we can't be seen. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is very,
Yeah.
very, very eye opening tonight. And I'm usually not quiet. And I'm quiet. But like I said, it's just educational purposes. You know what I mean? To open everyone's eyes. Like I said, that's what made me say, little Boosie, listen to this
Where
because I
can I
said he
listen to
has more
this after? Because
education.
this is some good stuff. I got some family members who need to listen to this. Not matter of fact,
It's on my YouTube channel, so you'll just type in
bet,
Audrey Marcel and you'll see it.
bet.
Like I really enjoyed this episode. I say this every
I
episode. I'm
did
like a broken
too.
record. I'm gonna say this was my favorite episode, and next week I'm gonna say that one was my favorite episode. But y'all
It
know what the
was.
hell I mean. This one I really enjoyed because I learned a lot even in myself. I am someone I always tell you I check
Yeah,
myself before anyone else. And I as a parent,
yeah.
I am trying my best to make sure that I don't raise children that are ignorant, offensive, mean, demeaning, whatever. And then I don't want to be that towards my children. I never want my children to grow up and feel like they heard the things
Couldn't,
that I
yeah,
said to other people or about
yeah,
other people
yeah,
and felt shame. So as a
yeah.
mom, I am working on that every day to make sure I check myself because I truly don't
And to
know
be
who my
open
children will
with,
be.
exactly, to be open, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
To be more open and to be more looking at things with love. You know what I mean? Like when
Exactly.
it all
With
boils
love.
down, we need to look at things with love, and what people choose to do is what they choose to do. And if it's not hurting you or harming you, it should not, you know what I mean, bother you. So I'm
Exactly.
loving
Exactly.
it and I appreciate it.
I
Yes.
always tell my well, I always say like I can only teach my kids how to be good humans. Now they have to do their part. Zane has to do his part on being who Zane wants to be as
Hmm.
far as that, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
A
So
lot of them learn their fucked up ways or have messed up ways because they hear their parents. I mean, we've heard our parents. Hell, shit.
mhm.
She can't use your
Right,
comb. Don't
right,
bring her home type shit. So
right,
we all have
right.
Yeah, but one thing that
overheard.
I will say about these younger kids, like from what I've noticed, is they are a lot more aware than
They
like
are.
Oh, and worse
I
than we
feel like
was. Hell yeah.
yeah, and like
And I think
even
I'm
like I'm
older
talking
than
about
all y'all. I'm 35. So we was not this
yeah.
woke and aware when I was younger. Hell no.
And I think parents who are resistant to change are going to have really hard time because these kids are really like questioning them in a way, like, and not in a defiant way, but like questioning them in ways. Like, I was watching Sex in the City. I don't know if you guys watched the reboot or if you guys ever heard, even watched Sex in the City, but on
Mm.
the show, one of the characters, her daughter, was like, I no longer want to go by like my name. I want to go by Rock, blah, blah, blah. And it's like these people are learning because there's people that I know, like, who they ended up being like transitioning later, whether that's just them changing their pronouns or whatever. But it's like, I always knew, or we could always know. But because it was so taboo, nobody said anything. But now these people are
Hmm.
becoming more aware of themselves and aware that they can be themselves or they don't have to fit in these boxes a lot younger. And it looks like a lot to people like, oh, you're being influenced by this, which I do think like there is a level of that, but there are people who just know who they are. And it's like, what are you guys going to do? Because these kids are not taking into consideration your feelings the way that they used to, because they have a society that tells them it is okay to be yourself. So it's like, fuck what you're doing at home, and you're actually going to ruin your relationship with your kids. Because it's one thing, like, this is how I grew up. Like, my people knew me, everybody knew me better than my parents did. You know what I mean? And like that, like, we didn't have that type of relationship because they didn't give me that permission to be myself. And it strained our relationship in the long run because it's like, you guys literally don't know me, you know? And I feel like
Yeah,
if you really love your
yeah.
kid and want to know your kid, just give them permission. I do think that, like, I understand parents wanting to protect their kids' innocence, period, and just wanting them to, like, like, have a mind of their own and not be influenced. But if that's your view, have that across the board, not just when it comes to
Hmm.
queer people, because y'all be having y'all kids doing all types of shit, listening to all types of stuff
Hell
on
yeah.
TikTok, dancing to all type of
Yeah,
stuff. Like,
yeah,
let's be
yeah,
clear. And now y'all
yeah,
draw the line at a
yeah.
little gay shit. Like, oh my god, please, girl.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. I
Yeah,
agree.
I
So we've been
agree.
on here for an hour and 15 minutes, y'all. This was a great, great live. We want to make sure that if y'all are part of the replay gang, drop y'all thoughts below. Give y'all opinions. Y'all can be honest. Just make sure that y'all
Yeah,
are respectful, because everyone in the
yes,
live chat was very respectful with their views and opinions. And most of us, I think we was just soaking up the knowledge and just really trying to listen to understand and not listen to respond. So
exactly.
it was a really good live. We do have a new cliffhanger for you guys for next week, which we may not be on live next week, you guys, just because that's the anniversary of our grandfather's transition. So we might, but may not. So if not, we'll catch y'all in February. And the cliffhanger is, when is the last time that you told yourself that you love yourself?
Hey, 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 y'all
So
know
when
I'm all
you
about that.
Exactly. So
So,
when you are talking to your kids, are you talking to your nigga? Are you talking to your homegirl? Are you talking to your mama and you say, I love you to them? When have you stopped and said it to yourself? Think
hmm,
about that throughout your days. Try to take a mental
yep,
note, stop yourself,
yep.
and we'll talk about it in the next episode. Peace out,
All
y'all.
righty. Peace out.
All
Thanks
right.
for hanging with us.
Girl,
Thank
you
you.
gonna waste your time, waste your time. I mean, honestly, over